Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Marcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Come to America, the greatest country in the world. You can be the very best you can be. We're looking for you to protect the rights, the land of the free, the home of the brave. Friends, remember this. Oh, I forgot to mention, you have to be white, or we don't want you. America. Well, that's what they don't tell you. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. This country has shown you nothing. If you're a person of color, that they don't want you. They don't want you here. And now they're loudly saying they don't want you. After they needed you for so long to help build this country, your technology, your ingenuity, everything. Now they don't want you. And they're mad they can't get rid of you. See, I often run into this. It's always some people going, if you don't like it, then leave. If you don't like this country, then you should just leave. You're always complaining about something. Gosh, just leave. You don't like this country, then leave the country. Go somewhere else and live. Why do I have to do that? Why should any of us have to get up and leave and go somewhere else? There's no reason for us. Our families and ancestors spilt their blood and died on this land. Why do we have to leave? This is our home. This is our land. Because we are complaining about the injustice and the hypocrisy in the laws that's supposed to represent all citizens of this land, and it's not being upheld, we have a right to call it out. We have the right to speak up. We have the right saying that, hey, this isn't right. We couldn't voice our opinion. That's what we have the right to do. Should we tell you to get out of the country if you don't like your neighbor living next door to you? You're complaining about your neighbor's radio, right? They're playing their music too damn loud. Well, then leave. Leave the country. If you don't like it, then leave. See how that works? So, once again, we all know that America was not built on anything of principle. It was built on stealing people's wealth, genocide of the Native Americans, African Americans, enslaving and exploiting African American people, Chinese people. The government had historically pretty much just engaged in unethical acts where they're doing medical operations. Remember the Tuskegee experiment with Black people getting syphilis because of it? And having all of this systematic inequality with the racism And even though that Dr. King and all of those guys have made tremendous strides in civil rights and systematic racism over the years, that the system still remains. And that prejudice remains profoundly through this day that we live in today in 2026. We're still fighting the power. And American institutions right now are even more segregated as far as educational disparities, where in this economy they have the best education in the world, but in the poor communities, they barely even try to teach those children. They just want them to be workers. So this deep economic inequality and translate directly into a system that doesn't pretty much favor anyone that is pretty much under the poverty line. So they're policed different. There's a different justice. High incarceration rate is the incarceration rate is the highest in the world per capita is the United States. And it's filled with African Americans and Latinos. Heavy skew towards minority populations. Wage gaps. For no reason in the world, white people are paid more money for the same job, same education, same qualifications. White people get different appraisal rates, home loan rates, not based on their credit history at all, just based off color. They walk in the bank and they get an interest rate that is ridiculous compared to what their white counterparts got, who had worse credit. So you can see a political and social system set up, healthcare, some of the worst, and the black hospitals, or what they call the urban hospitals, is more likely you're not going to survive if you don't have insurance rates, or they decide it's time to cash you out. You go in for something simple as blood pressure is low and you just need to get your blood pressure up. Next thing you know, you're in full cardiac arrest, and they're going to make more money cashing you in. So it's almost worth it to have a professional doctor on standby, but being poor, you don't have those options. Now, unfortunately, no one can determine their conditions, and we're not judging people who were born with privilege, meaning that they didn't have to worry about money growing up. We're not punishing you for that. We're just saying, congratulations. You are an anomaly to the system. But understand that there is a system in place. Now, I'm not going to say this country is just 100% awful. Many of us have a lot of luxuries that our ancestors died for the next generation to have an opportunity. They had to endure a lot of suffering their entire life, hoping and wishing and praying that they would have the opportunity, their children, their families would have the opportunity to one day be free and have a part of, not rule, not dominate, just to be a part of. Because the next generation, they want to keep them dumb, deaf, and blind, because the next generation isn't going to be so kind. The next generation is not going to swallow its tongue and be as nice, because people were asking, and now they're dead and in jail just for asking. So if people see that, they're not going to entrust that you have their best interests in mind, that America cares for them. So they're just going to work and work and work and try to find a way around the system. And because America doesn't want you, meaning person of color, they social engineer you to go against your own by giving you money. How many times have you seen these so called conservatives or whatever, blacks or whatever, come out and speak against other blacks and try to say, oh, no, 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 this is here? They can't name one policy that these toxic, white, racist people have done. They believe the Democratic Party is for black people. No, Democrats vote blacks vote Democrat, the majority of them, because they're the only ones talking about things to benefit them. What are the Republican Party offering to benefit anybody in that community? They don't care about them. They just want to steal your vote. They're not going to put any money into where you live. So your voting Republican is just another vote against yourself in your best interest. And you think, oh, well, I'm going to vote for them. They're going to do what's best for me. Yeah, but you're not looking at the collective picture, because now they're going to start removing rights. Now they're going to start deleting history, and you're not going to see nor understand any of it, because it's going to be gone. All your liberties gone. It's not going to change for them. It's going to change for you and other people that look like you. Yeah, you might be all right, but what about your cousin? What about your aunt? Are they going to be okay? I don't know. That's something you're really going to have to think about over the times. You're going to have to think about, is it okay? Is it not okay? Is everything pretty much done just to, pretty much disinseminate everything that you've come to know about this land and this country? We could stay here for days and tell you the corruption, the lies, all of it. All you got to do is look it up. The United States gun violence and mass shootings and things of that's always the national debate on gun control. Gun control. You hear that? They mention gun control. Why don't they mention the problem? Problem isn't gun control. You see that? A mass shooting, and they want to blame the gun. A gun is a physical object. It cannot do anything on its own. Somebody has to use that weapon. And what they found out is that the majority of these people using these weapons are on dangerous psychotic medications, getting access to these weapons. That should only be for military grade only. Now, if you want to say that should be just for the military exclusively and no one else should have it, fine. But when the people, the criminals on the streets have these weapons, who's giving it to them? How are they getting these weapons when before they had no access to these weapons? I remember when they couldn't even get bullets. Don't worry, I'm going to tell that story in a minute. But I want people to realize something and understand something. This is where we are now. This is America. We know how horrible the nation could be, but it has opportunities to be great. People have to eliminate hate. And how do you eliminate hate? By actually meeting and conversating with each other. That's why they want you segregated. Because if you meet people, it takes down those barriers of fear. Because you meet them, be like, oh man, this person, we both like the same TV show, man. He likes House of the Dragons like me. He's cool. They actually, it dissipates the fear on both sides. Then you realize, like, what do I hate this person for? This person want what the same thing you want, right? You want good job, security, and better education and a better life for your kids and family. Everybody wants that. The Asian people want that. The Indian people want that. Black people want that. White people want that. Like all races want the same thing. Nobody says, you know what? I just want to grow up and sell dope, do crimes and go to jail. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. They do crime because it's an easy way out in a life that seems hopeless. And even though they know it's death or jail, but for that little instance, they gonna buy the jury so they can shine. Because America is not showing them, they're trying to include them in their world. They're not trying to move out and be around you in the suburbs. They love the hood. They want to stay right where they at because they're their king. The block respect them. They wearing jewelry and cars with rims, and they shine. Their name is gonna be remembered on that block. People gonna know them. They might make a mural of them when they go out in the world, and they just another person. They don't want to play that game of going in the world, getting a job, working hard, going to fight to get an education in a world that won't accept it. Because you're showing them the alternative that even if you go to school, you get a great education, you have no criminal record, you've never harmed anybody, you're still going to be judged based off the color of your skin. And we're going to promote someone over you that's lesser only because of the color of their skin. And it's disheartening because that's not what America promised. It's not what America was supposed to be about. So when you are basically enforcing practices that you are accustomed to benefiting to each other, what you're saying is, we no longer need you, so we don't want you. We're good now. We're good now on our own. These rules are for white Americans or white immigrants that come here. They're giving green light, open doors to white European immigrants, but poor immigrants, oh, they're a problem. What are these rich white immigrants going to do when they come into this country? What are they going to provide? You were trying to bring in white social maniacs over here. Do you know how they live over there? Because they got some money. They live recklessly. So you bring them over here, what do you think's going to happen? This is what we try to avoid um, with everyone around. Because we know society, we know how it moves, we know when it's going to be in development, how it's supposed to move, the entire market. It's like, okay, we get it. This is America. This is how they want it to play out. But when is it going to be our turn to be included? So, what is the cure to this? Educate yourself. That's why I say come to the Patreon, learn. We teach y'all financial information so that you can learn. We can't tell you which books you should check out so you can learn. Knowledge is your defense. The more you know, the better equipped you are. Learning trades, that's your value. It's survival in this new age because right now we're heading to a very dangerous time where there's not going to be a lot of jobs anymore. Each year we're losing more and more jobs and we're gaining more and more people. So where's that going to lead us? To people with no jobs. And who do you think they're going to get a job to? Themselves or you? So you got to start figuring out what's going on and getting involved in the game because remember, they don't want you. So what you got to do is, I don't care. I'm coming anyway because you're not going to stop me. You understand? So I see all of y'all on the Casino for Life Patreon. And we out.